Welcome back to another reaction, this time for Release That Witch episode 2.
关注腾讯动漫 APP， 肩部作品更新中。
Exactly. I have no idea what they said. But I like that intro a lot better than the other one. We have the opening? Most likely. Okay.
热力学第二定律，不可能把热从低温物体传到高温物体，而不是
Heat can never pass from a colder to a warmer body. Okay.
物体，而不产生其他影响。或不可能从单一热源取热，使之完全转化为有用功，而不产生其他影响。
So you mean you're losing power, right? Is that what you mean?
过程中，熵的微增量总是大于0。
Entropy always increases in an irreversibly heat reaction. Sure.
摆脱熵增的困扰，还能无中生有，女巫的力量真是方便。
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I see what you mean. So you are telling me, so what you are talking about is a witch is able to produce heat without any of the requirements that you normally need, like fuel, or like energy. The witch can use more or less create heat out of nothing. Potentially even without any of the negative effects or with the byproducts that normal combustion has. So we see if that is true. Additionally, a witch can produce heat without being hot herself, and I don't mean in the physical sense. I mean in the physical sense. I mean in the, as he was saying, a cold body normally cannot emit heat, more heat than they have normally. But the witch can. The witch can produce heat even though she's like 37 degrees or whatever. But she can still burn for hundreds and degrees of heat. So the rules are different. Essentially, rules are different in this world. Live with it.
进来。
Now, again, just to reiterate, I did read the story years ago. I have a good idea what is going to happen. Because this is the part that I really enjoyed about that story.
早上好，殿下。
巴洛夫，我交代你的事办得怎么样了？
已经办妥了，殿下。女巫已于午时被绞死，犯人戴着头套，没人发现异常。
很好。接下来，你准备些资料给我。
是，您说。
我要边陲镇近10年来的贸易、税收和固定支出的汇总财务报告，还有，我想想，还有城里的那些作坊、铁器、纺织、陶器这类。你统计下数量和规模，给我一个详细的报告。
I'm assuming the prince did none of these.
还有边陲镇的人口分布、职业分布情况。
您要那些做什么？
To do my job, essentially.
你别管，给我就是了。
我知道了，殿下，你是终于要认真对待征往令了吗？
Oh, royal decree. I'm assuming because he got assigned to this border town, which supposedly insignificant, and he doesn't really have a chance on the king's throne. they did try to assassinate him. So we will see.
征王令。
He also doesn't have all the knowledge of his original character, it seems like. I don't know if he slowly but surely remembers them, but if he concentrates on a topic, he normally can get the information, at least last episode.
歌龙
Frigidus Ventis Ingum. Lucum? No. Goldwind Ridge is not what is written there anywhere.
歌龙坐镇军事重镇寒风岭，
Valencia? Interesting. It is written Valencia, but it is translated to Valencia, but written Valencia.
费科掌管经济中心金。
I'm assuming these are the different princes. A little bit unfair to have someone oversee the economic hub of Valencia. I mean, he's gonna have a good life.
队长，加
Out of Clearwater. Pura Aquaportum. So I'm assuming this is Latin. Pura Aqua. Which, oh, Clearwater. Pure Aqua. And Portum for port. We also have Aquila Europe.
西亚控制贸易港口、碧水港，体力运营
No. First. Reganum Cani Castelli. And Argentum Oryps. Argentum Oryps, and we have Aquila Oryps.
体力
Silver City. Argentum, yeah. Okay. What is Aquila? So, Herbs is city. Urban, Herbs, okay. I'm assuming it is Latin. Herbs is a Latin word for city. Okay. Latin Aquila. Aquila is a Latin word for eagle. So there you go. So Eagle City on top of the Pure Water City.
体力运营文化中心荧光城，
Terminus Oppidum and Longa Ars. So Terminus Oppidum border town. Terminus border, okay. Oppidum town. Oppidum. I'm trying to, because English is more or less coming from all the other European languages mixed together, and then you get English. Which means that because France, Italy, and French, Italian, and Spanish, I believe, have Latin roots. Quite a couple of them. I'm trying to understand what oppidum would be translated. I mean, what our word today is for oppidum. I have no idea why oppidum is town. Or better said, how we got from oppidum to something like town.
却被打发到穷山恶水的边陲。
I also wonder what Longa Arce is about. Because Arce Arc could be like a gate town. like a border fort. Could also be a farming area.
巴洛夫，在这种情况下，你认为我获胜的几率会有多大？没
Zero.
关系，诚实的说，
是，其他殿下的封地都是各有所长。
They do not. Shut the fuck up. Unless for some reason we have unlimited ore. One of them has a fucking trade town, trade city. One of them is on the water. They all have insane trade potential. The only thing that this town could have is maybe some ore, but for that you need more manpower, which means you would need a bigger town, which you don't have.
封地都是各有所长，相比之下，边陲镇实在是很难有所成就。再加上殿下您以往的表现和在王都贵族圈子里的人望，实在是说不上什么胜算。
说的不错。所以我只能换一种方式给父王留下深刻的印象。巴洛夫，我再问你，
Why though? Why is the fixation on becoming king? Would it not be good enough to get this town to prosper? Make it somewhat wealthy? You get a part of the wealth because as a leader and stuff. And you can live a good life. Is that not enough?
是谁在统治这个国家？
To truly rule the kingdom, probably the nobility.
当然是辉宝王室温布顿家族，殿下。
那只不过是表象。这个国家
Royal Capital Grey Castle. Regnum Carni Castelli. Regnum Royal Carni Castelli. I'm assuming Castelli is castle? Carni could be the capital?
家真正的统治者不在辉宝，而在
Okay, another town. Sanctus the church. Holy city. Sanctus, holy, I assume. Hermes is not... Is Hermes city? Hermes, Latin. Latin's a Greek god, Hermes, Mercury, yeah. Oh, it's the name of the city. I'm stupid. Because Urbs is city, Sanctus is holy, Hermes is the name. My fault. By the way, Arche is keep away, ward off, defend, and prevent. So, meaning the border town is further out than potentially the last castle that is there to defend. Castelli is castle, fortress, citadel, fortified settlement. And Carni is for dog. Canine Carni makes sense. Okay.
这里。
圣城赫尔梅斯，
倘若只有被教皇加冕的人才被视作合法的国王，那世俗政权就不过是神权的傀儡。无论我的兄弟姐妹将领地治理得多么方便，最终依然是教会的囊中之物。
As long as the church is not making them officially a king, they cannot they are not going to be seen as a king by the populace.
若
Makes
我可以
sense.
创立一个不受教廷约束的王国，王位就非我莫属。
I see where you're coming from, and I'm going to let you finish, but that also means anyone else can be king. Because let's say you burn down the church, and now the church is gone. You did it. We are not bound by the church anymore. Then everyone has the same way to try and become king. All your sisters and brothers can now become king. Which I feel like is the same either way. They try to assassinate him. There's probably a lot of assassination things going on, and it's like if only one of the siblings survive, so the king only has one heir, then the church is most likely going to crown them the king, unless they go against the church as a whole, which most will not do. Additionally, if you remove the church, the same is true anyway.
巴洛夫，你一直是中世的王室拥护者，看不惯教廷对世俗政权的过度干预，对吧？
话是这么说没错，可是教廷的力量根深蒂固，又有国民的支持，要怎么做才能？
国民对教廷的支持源于教廷的谎言。如果我们能证明教廷在说谎，
About what?
他们就不会再支持教廷。比方说，女巫其实并不是邪恶的化身。
所以您才要救下那名女巫。
Sure, not because she was naked. No, definitely not because of that. But I feel like the witch made it pretty clear she was not the devil. Otherwise, I assume she would have killed everyone. So going by that, they are not as evil as stated. They may not necessarily be good, but whenever you uncover one lie, it puts into question all the other stuff you heard.
巴洛夫，你当了20年助理财政大臣，对吗？
是的。
如果我在征王令中获胜，你的助理二字就
Let's hope he did not embezzle any
可以
money.
去掉的，或者更进一步，比如国王之首。巴洛
And
夫，
of the king.
不要质疑我的决定。
First off, this sounds good and all. He's like ancient. It will take a while to get rid of the church, then for you to become king. Until then, he's already dust. You know, he's not going to be around for that long, most likely. So, additionally, I don't know if there's someone else you would make your right hand.
殿下怎么说？
Maybe that is his way to try and get loyalty from the old man. To be like, listen, we're going to take a gamble, but if it pays off, you may be the right-hand man of the king one day.
殿下怎么说？
Which I would say is a very enticing offer, especially because he's so old. I don't know if he has family, but let's say you are like 50 or 60 and someone is coming to you and is telling you, we're going to take a huge gamble. If it pays off, you are going to be rich beyond your wildest dreams, or you are going to be famous. And if it doesn't pay off, I mean, your last days are going to be a little bit hard, but I feel like that is a risk you would be willing to take at a later stage.
你怎么了？巴洛夫，
你到底有没有好好劝他？
Unless he has family, because then whatever negative part can happen could be happen to his family, which in that case, the risk would be too high.
有没有在听我讲话？女巫这事不对劲。
不止女巫这事不对劲，连罗兰殿下本人都不对劲。
不对劲，这事很严重，万一消息走漏，让赫尔梅斯知道了，咱们麻烦大。
Also interesting. He was like, oh, if it comes out and Hermes, the holy city, hears about it, not the king, not one of the other princes, the holy city, which does fortify the viewpoint of our prince that everyone is under control of the holy city, which is not a good thing.
哎，你别走啊，把话说清楚啊！
So here we have our witch.
合同，我
Contract.
不明白。
就是一份契约，只要您在最后一页签名，您与殿下就是平等的雇佣。
First off, probably a wild idea to have like a contract. She could just break the contract unless there's magic contracts. I also find it interesting that we have an armed guard here, and he does not seem to be too worried. I would assume that in the vicinity of a witch who is seen to be the devil, unless the guard doesn't know she's a witch, I feel like he would have his hand at his weapon to be able to draw as fast as possible.
关系
平等，雇佣。
Also, equal employment for someone who was imprisoned is interesting. He could have done like a slave pact.
是的，这是殿下特意要强调的平等。您提供劳动，殿下付您报酬，每个月1枚金龙。
1 gold royal per month is a lot, right? They did say the minor dad with a broken leg was getting 25 royal gold, which is enough for the rest of his life. So getting 1 gold coin, I mean, in 3 years she would have made more money than her dad by sacrificing her. So I'm assuming it is a lot of money. Insane amount of money, even. Sadly, we don't really have a good idea, second episode, that how much are things worth. This is where normally you would showcase how much a loaf of bread is or how much a night's sleep is to have a better understanding of, oh, this is not a lot of money. This is a lot of money.
这比我父亲1年的收入还多。
See? Also a way to do it, so more than he makes in a year. So the 25 gold coins he got are essentially close to 30 years of wages. I would not be comfortable having that much money on my body, but I guess you can't leave it anywhere else.
没有写错吗？
您的报酬是罗兰殿下亲自裁定的，不会有错。
那王子他要我做什么呢？
What would you be willing to do for a gold coin is a question.
像我这样的人，
安娜小姐，
Did he shout? I feel like you wouldn't hear that.
怎么样？昨天睡得好吗？
很好。
那真是太好了。你经历了这么多可怕的事情，本该多休息几天，但时间实在紧迫，只好以后再补偿你了。怎么了？
我不明白，殿下为什么要这样做？
你指什么？
为什么要救我？还有那份合同，您又想要我做？下为什么要这样做？
你指什么？
为什么要救我？还有。
Whenever she blinks, her eyes go from small to big. I don't feel like eyes do that. Do they? The iris, definitely. But the eyes themselves don't change shape, do they? I don't know. Probably should check that at some point.
那份合同，
It does give a little bit more motion to the eyes, though, so I can see it being used in animation.
又想要我做什么？
多美好的下午啊！一起走走吗？
I mean, he did say work contract, so you do have to do some work. Now, in her shoes, I would question what kind of work I have to do for a gold per month. They try this again. And you see that the movement is a little bit floaty.
殿下，您为什么要救下我？我杀了人，我理应受到惩罚。
你是说从一个劫匪手里挽救你父亲的生命？我认为那只是一种自保，你做了所有人都会做的事情。
可是，就算大人宽恕了我的行为，我是一名女巫，是邪恶的、魔鬼的化身，是无法抹除的原罪。
Now, we don't really know how she became a witch. Was she born this way? Did she develop these abilities later? She probably kept it safe or hidden. So there are a lot of questions how this works. And this would also answer if the babies that supposedly the witches stole, that maybe there's more behind there than what we were led to believe. Because if you have like a group that people see as the enemy, it is a lot easier to just tell lies about this group and everyone is just going to believe you.
安娜小姐，这朵花送给你。
Takes this dead flower.
谢谢，柑橘很漂亮。
是，不过你可知道柑橘这种花是有剧毒的吗？
Is it? I feel like this is the typical. Oh, is that a belt? Interesting. I feel like this is the typical. Oh yeah, it's poisonous under specific situations. Yada yada. Also, does she have the shackle again that she can't cast spells? The amulet? I mean, she could just remove that, right?
骗你的。柑橘怎么会有毒呢？这不是大家都知道的吗？可刚才我说它有毒，你还是下意识地放开了它。柑橘还是那朵柑橘，本质并没有改变，改变的是我们对它的看法。
您的意思是，
Exactly.
女巫也是这样的吗？
没错。在我看来，女巫的力量就和这朵花一样，都是自然的产物，本身并无善恶之分。什么魔鬼啊、不洁啊，都是人们对她的看法。既然是看法，就可以改变，不是吗？
殿下，您还是想的太简单了。这种力量真的很恐怖。
I would not question that this power could be terrifying, especially as a child.
教会说的没错，女巫的力量就是魔鬼的力量，女巫都是魔鬼的化身。
But then why is the prince standing here? If you are the embodiment of the devil, wouldn't you try to kill everyone?
这股力量会害死所有靠近我的人，你应该立刻处死我。
如果你一心求死，没有人能阻止。但是死亡并不能解决问题，只是逃避而已。你的父亲并不会改变对女巫的态度，你所失去的一切也不会再回来。
He's right. Nothing is going to change. There's no repentment, nothing.
或者，你也可以选择另外一条路。
I guess the whole do better and use your power for the betterment of everyone.
和我一起，创造一个女巫也能自由生活的新世界。在那个，
Which I feel like would be very blasphemous to say. Create a new world where witches can live freely. I feel like the whole church is going to be like, how about we don't do that? How about I communicate you and, everyone can kill you? Kind of deal?
世界，你不必担惊受怕，不必躲躲藏藏，更不必隐藏自己的力量，以自己的身份为耻辱，而是可以选择自己想过的人生，用你的力量去造福大众。在我看来，那足以改变这个苦难的世界。就像这朵柑橘，它的花语是苦难中最坚强的力量，那绝不会是魔鬼的力量。我给你的那份合同，就是想请你和我一起去做这件事情。
我想回去念书，和大家在教室里朗读，在田间唱歌，将来成为像卡尔老师一样的人，每天和孩子们在一起，教他们读书写字。殿下，真的。 会有那一天吗？
会的，只要我们一起努力。
And because he's the protagonist, right? I do wonder how many stories like this would end with them losing and not succeeding in their plan. Because naturally in a story you want the protagonist to win most of the time. So I feel like it is very rare to have them lose. This may be one of those that maybe he does not succeed.
我愿意去尝试一下。我要怎么做？
Also, I feel it is questionable if she is ever going to be a teacher.
首先，你要学会控制自己的力量。 今后，这里就是你的训练场了。你要完全的掌握这种力量、温度、角度，从各个方面随心所欲的控制。
Yeah, because we can't have you run around naked every time.
但是，也不要再烧坏你的衣服了，或者其他任何东西。
I mean, try to not burn your clothes, because we would need to get new ones. Otherwise, not too much of a problem. She already failed. I do like that the knight looked away. Oh, he got the book. So he's checking all the information. Probably to find out what they could make to further the development of the town. You need a little bit of startup capital. Diem longum abuisti? Requiescence enam? Sure. Something along those lines. Probably something, eat, have fun. I don't know. I do find it interesting that we are using Latin. Who? Oh, the assassin. Okay. Secret message.
昨天晚上我看了去年的产业报表，发现边陲镇唯一可称得上有规。
I assumed it would be something about the ore or
规模的
whatever.
产业就是矿石开采，其中不仅有建筑用的石料，还有不少金属矿石，宝石的数量也十分可观。
Which I still find sure. Okay, the other towns or the other princes, they got like trading towns, one on the water line, one in the central somewhere, and their main trade hubs. Sure. The big point though is that they got a big start, which you don't have. Sure, you could maybe use all the metal and gemstones you mine to get something on the same level, even maybe more prosperous. However, you are at the border, so it's going to be hard for merchants to come to you. Second, you don't have the manpower. Your starting town is a lot weaker than the trade towns, probably by a magnitude of 5 or whatever. So first you need to start getting some money, which then is going to get people to move here because they have the prospect of potentially making some money. And then you need a way to attract merchants. And then you slowly but surely you get more people. That means more mining, more materials, which gets more merchants to come, which is going to get you some of the outside goods, making your people more happy. They work harder, more people come. You have this little, ecosystem. The problem is that merchants, I feel like merchants are mostly about big trade routes and not necessarily going somewhere and then going back. It may be happening, especially if you deliver like food. I can see that a border town potentially, especially if it has a lot of money, could be lucrative. But I don't know. We will see. It is very important though that you get merchants. You need to attract merchants somehow.
可再看这份财务报表，去年的财政收入几乎为零。不仅如此，贸易记录中也仅有数笔矿石买卖和一些铁制品交易，都是和柳叶镇之间进行的。这些微薄的收入，仅够支撑市政部门的支出。大部分的矿业产出根本就没有记录，证明。
So even though you are mining, somehow all the items disappear,
民日常生活和税收相关也不。
which the old prince probably didn't really care about. He just lived.
不见踪影。这么来看，边陲镇没有农业生产，全员都从事矿产工作。那他们每天的食物又是如何解决的呢？
殿下，您昨天夜里一直在看这些报。
What a good question, my old man. I asked, how do we procure food? Don't worry about me.
报表吗？这么多报表，您一定……
是啊，花了一点时间。
So back to the question, old man.
之前我对我的领地了解太少了，把各种事情都扔给你，自己一个人沉迷在花天酒地里。对不起，辛苦你了。
殿下，
接下来，我会承担起我该做的事，请你尽全力辅佐我。
谨遵殿下吩咐，我定然竭尽所能。殿下，其实到去年为止，边陲镇所有产出的矿石都用来和长歌要塞交换粮食了。
Okay, we don't have any records of that. Why? And with Longsong Stronghold, I feel like you got shafted on that deal.
交换不是出售吗？
在长歌要塞眼里，边陲镇不过是要塞的产业，只要给一点口粮。
I see. So we are not going to trade with them anymore.
让工人们可以继续工作。
Which is even more important to get merchants to come. Now, the problem is that most likely they have to go through the Longsong Stronghold. So, I don't know what we are going to do. Maybe get rid of the Stronghold? Unless we can find maybe a different route. We are at the water, at a river. And I am assuming the river is going to flow from the town to the east. Because we know in the east there is an ocean, but maybe in the west also, we don't know. And the west has mountain areas where most of the springs come from. So good chance it goes east. So we could use boats to transport goods, at least down river. I don't know how you get food, because I can't use the same route then and still have to go through the stronghold.
即可，根本不配作为贸易的对象。在您来之前，原本边陲镇的领主包利斯男爵，他一直遵守要塞的命令，将矿产全部交给要塞，换一点口粮回来而已。
包利斯男爵，我对他有印象，阴阳怪气的家伙。我来抢了他的领地，他对我不满，倒也可以理解。不过照理说，边陲镇既是他的领地，那就算为了自己的利益，也应该会希望用公平的方式来进行矿石交易吧。
Unless he gets a kickback.
这些矿石价值可不菲。
包利斯和他手下的骑士以及其他一些贵族，虽然名义上是边陲镇的领主，事实上都在长歌要塞有房产，自家的利益和产业都是和长歌要塞挂钩的。他们从来没有打算经营边陲镇， 而仅仅是作为要塞的监工而已。他们才不会在乎这些，只要将矿产拿去交换粮食，完成任务即可。而且要塞也会给他们分红。哎，说是交换，都言过其实。因为无论上交多少矿石，给过来的粮食也都只够维持生存而已。镇上的日常开销还要靠那一点点和柳叶镇的贸易，要塞是1分钱都不。
Where's this Willow Town? Willow Town. Does it have a different route? Because then we would strengthen that relationship and try to get merchants through that direction. Because that is the biggest part. If merchants are able to come from Willow Town, they can buy ore at our location, and then they could go through Longsong as example and sell the ore for quite a good markup. We may even give them a little discount.
要塞是1分钱都不出的。
不能再这样下去了，立即停止和要塞的交换。
That is the right call, but you need food, yes.
那我们以后的粮
Maybe we try to make our own food. Again, there's the river, maybe some fish.
食问题怎么办？
边陲镇将开始真正的贸易，把已经装船的矿石全部卖到柳叶镇，用货币结
Yes.
算，
Okay.
然后直接在当地购买粮食。
Okay. So exchange all the ore into money, the money we can use to buy food. Okay.
可是柳叶镇如果
They are going to buy. The question is just how much can you get? You just need to make it profitable enough for them to
我
buy.
不买怎么办？毕竟从来没有过如此大宗的矿石买卖。
我们可以以低于市场价50%的价格卖给他们，在如此大的利润面前，他们
Exactly. And this way you strengthen your relationship with Willow Town. They are going to most likely not accept any cooperation with the fortress, because that would stop them from being able to get this good deal. And we can also increase or decrease the discount we give them every year by a little bit.
不会不买。
50%？
没错，我们就可以立即获得一笔可观的启动资金，并且迅速占领市场。
可是如此低廉的价格，那以后怎么办？
以后我们就不一定非要卖给柳叶镇了。看看这张地图，巴洛夫，边陲镇是赤水河的源头，而赤水河贯穿全国。在我们有了一定数量
Okay.
的船队之后，不只是
Agra Rubra.
柳叶镇，我们可以顺
Valencia.
着赤水河把贸易做到全国各地。赤水河将成为我们边陲镇的丝绸之路。
可是殿下，
I see. Makes sense. Now, because we are on a very tight schedule, it makes sense to now sell to Willow Town for a big discount, get the money, get the food, prepare more ore, and then you can have longer trade routes going. But at the moment, we need to get some food and a stockpile of some food and money.
边陲镇不产丝绸啊！
我只是打个比方了。总之，我们可以通过赤水河全面扩展我们的贸易对象。
And if you get trade partners further down the road, that would mean that the stronghold is going to be more interested in a fair trade again. They may also be interested in taking military actions. We will have to see.
殿下，
They could also just stop your ships. I don't know how big the river is, but they could embargo the river. and therefore stop your ships, seize your cargo, whatever they want to do.
开拓贸易是件好事，可是，一旦这么做，就等于从要塞嘴里抢食。这么一来，等到冬天，他们恐怕就不会收留我们了。
收留？为什么我们要去要塞过冬？
殿下，您怎么连这个都忘了？冬天可是有邪魔之月呀！
Oh,
邪魔之月。
that is why they are the border castle. And border town is a little bit further away. Interesting, okay.
每年入冬，
Which months do we have? How long until winter? Can we defend this location?
的第一场雪落下之后，龙脊山脉中的地狱之门便会打开。边陲镇西边迷雾森林里的野兽受到魔鬼之力侵蚀，会变成凶猛且嗜血的邪兽。它们会成群地冲出迷雾森林，向东方进攻，所到之处生灵涂炭。边陲镇是没有城墙的，我们无法抵御邪兽的进攻，所以每到冬天，边陲镇的居民就必须要全员搬去长歌要塞避难。凭借要塞高大的城墙和精锐的骑士团，才有可能抵御邪兽的进攻。直到第2年开春，邪兽退去，才可以返回边陲镇。
每年冬天，边陲镇的居民都要迁徙一次，也就是说，不解决邪兽问题，在边陲镇立足，发展贸易，对抗要塞，甚至征王大业都无从谈起了。
Okay. So you know, the right-hand man, not bad, not bad. So the idea, okay, we have the idea how we can grow our town, make it more prosperous. But we cannot really go against the stronghold right now because of the threat. So we need to deal with the threat first. As soon as we are not reliant on the stronghold in winter, then we can make the town more prosperous and cut out the stronghold. Okay. Now, the question is, what else is in our way to make the border town better?
把卡特叫来。
殿下，您要的人我找来了，他们都在边陲镇待过5年以上，都经历过邪魔之月。这2人是边陲镇的巡逻队长，每年邪魔之月的烽火都由他们负责燃放。那位猎人，他说他和邪兽交过手，并亲手杀死过2只邪兽。
He's looking different. Clearly. This looks more like indigenous. Maybe someone who lived in this part of the world for many generations.
燃放烽火的流程是怎样的？
是，尊敬的王子殿下，如果邪兽穿过迷雾森林，我们就去。
好了，别紧张，放松一点。
Yes, this works really well. Don't be nervous. Relax. Never works.
你来替他说吧。
是。我们巡逻队的岗哨就驻扎在龙脊山脉的南坡上，山脚下就是迷雾森林。巡逻队每到深秋就会随时注意迷雾森林的动静，一旦发现邪兽踪迹，我们就会立即点燃烽火，然后在赤水河乘坐快舟撤离到要塞汇合。
快舟在水中不会受到邪兽的攻击吗？
是的，殿下。赤水河水流湍急，水又很深，这么多年来，我们从未发现过一起邪兽渡过赤水河的案例。龙脊
Where are they coming from, though?
山脉上的烽火台距离赤水河边很近。
And how do you get your boat back up the river?
我们腿脚利索，一般不会有什么危险。
邪魔之月会持续多久？
大概2到3个月不等。边陲镇一旦下雪就不会停，直到重新放晴，雪才会化掉。要等到雪化， 邪魔之月才算结束。我经历过最长的一次邪魔之月是在2年前，那次持续了近4个月。由于饥饿，很多人没能挺过那个冬天。
饥饿？你们不是躲在长歌要塞吗？
要塞，他们按照我们上交的矿石量来给粮食，省着点吃，最多只能支持3个月。第4个月的粮食要等新一批矿石到了才能发放。可邪魔之月还没过去，我们根本无法回到边陲镇开采矿石。最后的那1个月，他们是看着我们饿死在长歌要塞里的。
So, okay, we have another part we can use because at the moment it is going to be difficult to get everyone to more or less change their yearly life and stay in the border town, but being able to use this hatred, which I assume a lot of these people do have for the stronghold, it would be a lot easier to get them to stay in the border town and fight in the hopes to just stick it to the stronghold people. At least all of these should have the experience that the stronghold doesn't care about the people and let them or someone close to them starve to death.
你说你曾经亲手杀死过2只邪兽？
是的，殿下，我杀死过1只野猪种和1只狼种。
野猪种、狼种，什么意思？
邪兽也是由正常的野兽变异而来的，变异会加强它们某些原始的本能。变异前越凶猛的动物，变异后就越难对付。比如野猪种，它背部的皮毛极为坚硬，50米外连弓弩都很难穿透。 狼种则奔跑速度惊人，想要杀死它，必须提前设置陷阱。
强的更强，快。
Okay. So you get even some information about the monsters. Good. Now the question is, how did you defeat these two? If they are so hard to
更
kill.
快，但他们仍只是动物，对吗？
正是如此，所以他们并非最可怕的敌人，真正可怕的是混合种。 他们才是魔鬼的化身，只有地狱才能创造如此恐怖的妖兽。
混合种，你见过吗？
它如雄狮般强壮，还长着一对雄鹰的翅膀，能短距离飞行。它知道你在哪儿，不管怎么躲藏，它都能靠敏锐的嗅觉找到你，戏耍你，就好像在享受猎物垂死挣扎带给它的快感一般。
这样的怪物应该不多吧？
是的，殿下。 每次邪魔之月只有2、3只，还好它们虽然有翅膀，但是只能低空滑翔，不然连长歌要塞的城墙都拦不住它们。
We don't ask how he killed those two monsters.
你叫什么名字？为什么一直低着头，抬起头来？
他是莫金族人，一个流亡的沙弥，殿下。
Okay.
沙弥，不论是什么人，只要在边陲镇，就是我的子民。抬起头来，告诉我你的名字。
我叫铁斧。
干得好，铁斧！你将为你的勇敢获得回报。还有你们，感谢你们的付出和情报，你们每人都会获得10枚银狼的奖励。先下去吧。
是，谢谢王子。
Since if a roy is, we don't need know the conversion rate. It could be 10 for 1. It could be 100 for 1. If we go for 100 for 1, this would be worth like a month of work for the old man, the old miner, which, just to share a little bit of information, seems like a pretty good deal.
谢谢王子殿下。
卡特，
是，
跟我出去一趟。
是，殿下。
Oh, this is where the beacons are lit, huh? So I'm assuming what they do is whenever they come back in the spring, they get their ship back, they prepare another beacon, and this is more or less what they do over the year. It could also be that in the summer they go back to the border town, do some other work, and in autumn they come here again.
每到入冬第一次发现邪兽的踪迹，巡逻队就会点燃烽火台。然后，他们就快速下山，冲向最近的赤水河岸边。卡特，你估计从这里到河边，大概有多远？
大概有2000尺左右。殿下，恕我直言，您考察这些东西做什么？难不成您打算在边陲镇过冬吗？
没错。不仅我不会走，边陲镇2000多居民也不会走。
2000. I assumed the town would be smaller because it is shown on the map pretty small. And I mean, this is a good idea, I guess. The question is, how do we deal with
所有人
monsters
都
there?
将在这里过冬。
这太疯狂了，殿下！我们的卫队只有几十号人，如何能够防御邪兽的进攻？您的城堡也没法容纳全镇2000多居民啊！只有长歌要塞才能容纳我们这么多人，同时还可以抵御邪兽的入侵。
好了，卡特，我当然不想死在这儿，也不会抛弃我的子民。这里就是我们的战场，我们就在这儿击溃邪兽，保卫边陲镇。
你在说什么？
Again, the background music very choir-esque.
我是说，我们将在这里防御邪兽，我们将在这里建造一堵最坚固的城墙。
Wow. The sound disappeared real quick. But fair enough. I like it. I like it a lot. The whole show. It's not about being super strong, defeating the Demon King, doing this or that, or adventuring. We are in this town. We are trying to make this town prosper. We are trying to deal with the diplomatic bullshit that is going on. And our main goal is to get rid of the church and become king. Which I like a lot more than, oh, we go on adventure 565 with our little harem of girls and I'm super strong and I was the strongest, but I got kicked out of the party. Let's hope it stays that way.